Hey, dude.
Oh my!
All of you
Lordy
guys
Lord.
are beta males. I'm an alpha male. Get wrecked.
No, you're not. You're fucking
You're a
so
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
bottom,
whatever.
bro.
You're a fucking furry.
You're a fucking
Why did-
bottom, bro.
Persona 5 is a game that I absolutely love. From the graphics, to the characters, to the gameplay, everything about it comes together in an amazing package. However, there are some flaws in the game. Some of the story moments can be a bit cringe, and God knows Morgana sucks balls, but what if I take a look at the major parts of the gameplay? Those, of course, being the palaces. Palaces in Persona 5 are the dungeons. They're pretty cool. To go more in depth, Persona 5 features a place called the Metaverse, which is the main dungeon crawling aspect of the game. You play as the Phantom Thieves, and these Phantom Thieves go into the Metaverse to stop evil, crooked beings. These evil beings create a palace which represents their true feelings of their heart, which has a cognitive version of themselves being their shadow. Really hard to explain, but basically, you fuck shit up. Now, what if I ranked all of the Persona 5 royal palaces in this video? That would be pretty dope. Now, I would love to rank all these, but I literally can't. And if you want a reason why, I haven't beaten Persona 5 Royal. I have beaten Persona 5 Vanilla, but I have not beaten Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal is a game that I do own, but I've only gone through the first two palaces. They're basically the same game, but Royal adds in another palace and some new additions. I don't want to spoil what the new palace is, as if anyone wants to play the game, then I won't spoil it. However, there will be spoilers in this video, and I mean major spoilers, so that's just your warning. But we're going to be ranking every single palace, including Mementos, in this video. So let's begin. That's gonna be a Coomers Palace. Yeah, Coomers Palace is hot garbage for many reasons. Now, in Persona 5 Royal, some people have said it's better, some people have said it's worse. I haven't played through it, so I can't speak on that. But overall, this palace blows. Now, there are a few good things about this palace, like, Haru's a cool character, I guess? Haru's a character that I do enjoy in Persona 5. She's introduced in Coomers Palace, and she is the daughter of Okumura. Okumura is a corrupt businessman, person that treats his employees like trash, and runs Big Bang Burger. Yeah, he's just a stereotypical rich guy. If you want to see a real-life version of him, just look at Jeff Bezos. They're literally the same thing. So yeah, Okumura is just an okay villain, but he's really no better than most villains in this game. The villains aren't really that impressive. But back on to Haru, Haru is a good character. She's a very polite human being who is presented as a sort of heir to the throne to Okumura's business. She's put in these really crappy situations where she's forced to get married to a person she doesn't even love because of the family business. Yeah, so Haru is a good character, and she gets looked at quite a bit throughout the game. And when I mean looked at, I mean they just ignore her, like, every time she appears, I swear. Haru is the most underutilized character in the game. Just straight facts. And her introduction does not help her. She is presented as the beauty thief.
The treasure will be taken by me, and this beauty thief!
However, the worst part about this palace is the lead up. Yeah, the lead up, sucks. Now, if you want me to explain the lead up, let's get into it. Now, at this rate, the Phantom Thieves are at complete popularity. Everybody loves them, except for Goro Akechi, Mr. Pancakes Man himself.
I want to go to that huge pancake-looking place we passed on the way here!
Oh, am I mistaken? I thought I heard something about delicious pancakes.
So yeah, everybody likes the Phantom Thieves, and the Phantom Thieves decide, let's help them out. So, they have a rankings board, and at number 1 is, of course, Okumura himself. So, of course, them wanting to support their fans decide, let's take down Okumura. Now, the actual dialogue in these conversations is pretty great. They start to question whether or not they're actually doing the right things, or just getting full of themselves. Later on, after they beat this dungeon and get absolutely pranked by Mr. Pancakes, they start to realize what they've done wrong, which is a lot. However, the worst part about this is the fact that Mr. Morgana here has to be the worst fucking character of all time. Yeah, Morgana was already a character I hated, but this just makes him even worse. Ever since Futaba's introduction, Morgana's been feeling very useless. Reminds me of another character, and like every other character from Persona 4. However, Morgana is a character that I don't even like. He is basically Teddy, but even worse, because he lives with you. So yeah, Morgana sucks. But in this arc, he gets all pissy and bratty and says, I'm gonna take down Coomer myself because he can't get along with the Phantom Thieves. They start to argue. It's the most annoying shit ever and nobody cares. So yeah, Okumura's palace lead up sucks. But to make it even worse, Akuma's palace itself sucks. The puzzles are easy. I don't know why everyone says they're hard. They're really easy. I even beat the vent one in space really easily. But they take so long. But for some reason, the Phantom Thieves in vanilla Persona 5 literally say that you're halfway through the palace when you're like 30% done because, I don't know, they want to make you suffer. And they keep telling you this, that they're almost there to the treasure, but you never get there. And after 5.5 hours of grinding through these boring puzzles, listening to the worst palace thing, fighting the same enemies over and over again, you get to Akuma's boss, which sucks. You just fight the same robots, and it's super easy, and once you actually fight him, you beat him in one hit. Coomers Palace, fucking Morgana tier. Yep, at number 7, we have Connoisseurs. Now, some people actually like Connoisseurs Palace, which, I mean, I can't blame them. It's actually pretty good. And then you get into the palace, and it sucks. The lead-up is solid. You get introduced to Makoto, who's best girl, might I say, but she's a pretty solid character. She's built up as this sort of boring, soulless, generic, really good student who sucks up to the teachers. But then she pulls a 180, says, fuck that, I'm gonna go full sicko mode, get some motorcycle bike, and beat up some demons. Now that's what I like to call sick. She understands that women in Japanese society are not valued as equal, so she has to have really good grades and be really, really knowledgeable. She doesn't like this, as she's framed as a sort of robotic, emotionless being. Eventually she feels like she's useless, but in Connoisseurs Palace, she breaks free of that and joins the Phantom Thieves. Yeah, that's about it. Nothing else here is that good. The only other good things are the imagery. It's pretty cool, seeing the ATMs. Seeing Kaneshiro think that human beings are just ATMs and things to make money off is pretty cool. And the palace theme slaps to the highest degree. But like I said, everything else sucks. It's long, boring, the enemies are okay at best. Most of the puzzles are extremely boring, like entering these digits is just not that fun, exploration really isn't that cool, and Kanashiro's boss fight sucks, it's just not that entertaining. He becomes a big piggy, I guess, but that's about it. Yeah, this palace has potential, so I will give it the Haru tier, but it's not that good. Yeah, Depths of Mementos. It's good. Alright, fine, I'll go more in depth. After the defeat of Mr. Pancakes and Cheetos Palace, Cheeto admits to the faults that he has done, and the Phantom Thieves are sitting very pretty. However, people start to ignore Cheeto's doings, taking his apology and not really saying anything about it. The Phantom Thieves are also starting to get forgotten, it seems like, and the Phantom Thieves have no idea why. However, Morgana says that the reason why this is happening is because something in the depths of Mementos has altered. So, the Phantom Thieves head down in the depths of Mementos, shit goes down, and the Phantom Thieves end up losing. Yeah, they encounter this big fucking holy grail, I guess, and they take a fat L. Because humans' desires of not wanting to be themselves are too strong. They want to be controlled. They don't want to live their life. They just want to be guided, not having to do anything. And the Holy Grail takes this and says, that's what humanity wants. The Phantom Thieves end up getting Thanos snapped out of existence, and Joker ends up in the Velvet Room, where Igor here reveals that he's truly Yaldabaoth, the god of control. He reveals that he's been controlling your entire mission to this point, and basically says how he game-ended the real Igor and separated the Twin Wardens. The Twin Wardens become one again, becoming Lalvenza, Lavenza, you know, this woman here. After this, the god of control, Yaldabaoth, offers Joker one last deal. If he accepts it, you get a bad ending. If you don't, you get the true ending. From there, you go back through the depths of Mementos, defeat the Holy Grail, and fight Yaldabaoth. Yeah, that's it. It has some really cool imagery, and finally, Morgana actually has a good character arc, discovering who he truly is and why he was created. So yeah, good on you, depths of Mementos. Anyways, they encounter Mr. Holy Grail, they defeat him, and then they actually have to fight Yaldabaoth, the final boss. He's very tanky, he is cool, he's not as good as Persona 3's final boss. Overall, depths of Mementos, it gets the on tier. Pretty good, but not the best. Yep, Mataramis Palace is next. Honestly, I don't have any comment on Mataramis Palace other than it's really solid. The lead up is good, like really good. We get to see Yusuke front hand be an absolute excellent character. I love Yusuke, everything he does is just great. The lead up to Mataramis starts off with Morgana telling you about Mementos. Entering Mementos, they do the first request. And this man mentions a person named Matarami, and he mentions how he's a corrupt and overall terrible human being. So with that, they keep it in the back of their mind. Eventually, Yusuke bumps into them and asks On to be his model for his next artwork piece, with Yusuke mentioning that his sensei is Matarami. This rings a bell in the Phantom Thief's eyes, and they decide to accept the invite to the art museum. While they're there, they try to figure out anything about Matarami. Realize that he lives in a shack, they head over there to ask Yusuke about the whole, situation. Of course, Yusuke is happy to see An accepted his offer, but then he realizes that that's not what they're there for. They ask him about if Matarami is secretly abusing any of his pupils, and of course Yusuke denies that. They eventually realize that, hey, maybe Matarami is a good human being. Then they encounter his palace, and all that just goes away. We then get some funny dialogue with An now being forced to be a nude model, and then the actual dungeon itself. Matarami's dungeon is gorgeous, probably one of my favorite in the game. The golden, sort of twisted atmosphere is beautiful. The paintings opening up when you're walking through them, jumping through the paintings, seeing this gorgeous artwork, and of course Sayuri being just a really cool artwork in general. Like, I don't know, everything about this palace is really cool. The one thing I don't really like is the fact that this palace is super easy. Everything in this palace is extremely easy. In Persona 5 Vanilla, it was easy. In Persona 5 Royal, it was easy. I like the will seeds here, they're pretty fun to encounter, and of course using the grappling hook was a treat in Royal. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say. I mean, I guess I can comment on Matarami's boss fight, but it's nothing too special. It's really easy, and honestly one of the least memorable. But at least he looks really funny. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. On tier. Yeah, next up on the list we have Mementos. Yeah, it's good. Mementos and Persona 5 Original probably would have gone in the Morgana tier or maybe Mishima tier, but now in Royal it's so much better. Jose is actually a really charming character that I quite enjoy a lot. I like his voice actor, and he's a really cool character. Tries to discover mankind by, researching them. Now, Mementos is still very similar in Persona 5 Royal compared to Persona 5 Vanilla. However, they added these flowers that you can find, which can be cashed into Jose to get some really good SP items and other stuff. Not only that, but if you find these stamps, you can upgrade Mementos to get even better rewards, and this is the best change they could have added. Makes Mementos actually worth the grinding for, instead of Vanilla, where you're just forced to go there because you needed to complete some requests. Also in Royal, they added new banger music in Mementos, and it makes it so much more fun to actually traverse through. Like, it's just great. But, besides that, it's just a normal sort of dungeon. You just walk through there, completing a request, hop in Morgana's van. Like, it's fun. However, Mementos doesn't really have any serious villains, or really any build-up at all, other than Morgana saying, yeah, let's go there. Does play an important role in the story, as the depths of Mementos, of course, is Morgana's origin. But, yeah, overall, Mementos is solid. On tier. Yeah, next up on this list, we're gonna have Cheetos Palace. What can I say, man? Cheetos Palace is really solid. Let's start off with the best thing about it. The lead up. But Mr. Pancakes here shoots you and we get blood, guys. We get blood. Yeah, so he shoots you, you die, but then they come back alive. No, actually what happens is an extremely long and complicated plot involving Sei, Goro, Akechi, the metaverse, Sei's palace, pancakes. It's a really complicated plot that I just can't really go into detail, but it's pretty damn good. Cheetos Palace itself is really solid, except for the rat puzzles. I hated the rat puzzles. They're too long, they're too boring, but the ideas behind it, the actual enemies themselves, and Cheeto's boss fight is amazing. Cheeto himself is the worst villain in the game. He is not entertaining in any sort of the way. He's a complete scumbag, he's not likable, and his build-up is really lame. He's just seen as this corrupted politician, like, once again. However, if you ignore that, Cheeto's boss fight is great. You finally get to have revenge. He has an amazing song in Rivers in the Desert. It's just a great boss fight in general. However, Akechi's boss fight is arguably better. Akechi was built up as this sort of charismatic young detective. Naoto 2.0, basically. Akechi has a sort of like Adachi effect, where his parents were just not there at all, except for his mother, who committed suicide. Cheeto had an illegitimate child with Goro Akechi's mother, who was a sex worker, and yeah, she killed herself, basically. And so with this, Mr. Pancakes himself wants to get revenge on Cheeto, so he uses his newfound metaverse powers to fuck him over. Akechi, when he finally encounters the Phantom Thieves, gets so mad that he just goes ballistic. They fight in Cheeto's dungeon, and, you know, you win, unless you lose, but you would win. Akechi has a Spider-Man meme moment, and they kill each other. Yeah, Cheetos Palace is great. And so is the music. On tier. Okay, now let's go over Kamashita's Palace. Oh boy, is there a lot to say. Kamashita's build-up is my second favorite behind Cheetos. It's so good. Kamashita is the only villain in this game that I consider good. He's so despicably evil and has so much connection to the protagonist and An and Ryuji that I just have to love it. He has so much connection between the protagonist and An and Ryuji that he's built up really well. He gets a lot of moments in the sunlight, which makes his character more deep and more evil. This allows his palace to feel much more important as you experience it firsthand. You experience his abuse firsthand. Matarami, not so much, and Kaneshiro definitely a lot, and especially Okumura, you don't really experience anything that he, you know, does. However, with Kamashita, you do, and him threatening to expel you guys is a pretty good reason to beat that palace. And also, Shiho jumps. In the actual palace itself, it's really good. The music slaps. The will seeds are really cool. I like the traversal with the grappling hook. And seeing demons for the first time in a Persona game in a while just warms my heart. Yeah, it's just a really good dungeon. Nothing to say here except that Kamashita's boss slaps. It's fun, it's simple, it is easy, but it's really entertaining. Kamashita gets Yusuke tier. Now we're down to the top two palaces. And at number 2, we have Sei's Casino. I already know where I'm gonna put this. I'm putting it in Ryuji tier. Honestly, Sei's Palace is incredible. The reveal that Sei was your next target was just insane. I literally never expected this at all, and it's just a really good twist. And Sei's Palace itself is really solid. The lead up to it is amazing. Okumura has a mental shutdown because Pancakes here shot him in the head when you guys weren't expecting it. And now the Phantom Thieves are getting blamed for mental shutdowns, and they're kind of getting middle-fingered. The reason why they decided to go after Sei is because Goro Akechi mentions it and teams up with the Phantom Thieves, and you get to use him as a party member. Akechi as a party member is pretty solid. He has a Robin Hood persona, and it's kind of dope. But other than that, the palace is just really solid. I like the build-up. Sei as a villain is really intriguing. She isn't necessarily evil, but she has a warped sense of justice ever since she started handling the Phantom Thieves. And Makoto reacting to how her sister has turned out is really emotional and just great overall. Sei's boss fight in Persona 5 Vanilla is good. In Royal, it got butchered, but in Vanilla, it's a really fun boss fight in my opinion. And Whims of Fate slaps. Slaps hard. Slaps harder than my dad. Yeah, the Palace theme itself puts it at number 1. But I can go even more depth. I love the Egyptian theme. I love Futaba as a character. Not best girl, but still a really good character. I love the build-up. I love seeing Sojiro react to Futaba. I love Futaba's interactions with the party members. I love Wakaba as a boss fight. I like the backstory of Futaba. Everything here is handled excellently, and Medjed in itself is a really cool idea. Having a sort of online threat is really interesting to me. I can't say any more than it's just amazing, and is single-handedly one of the reasons why you should play Persona 5. So, of course, it gets the number 1 spot in Ryuji tier. That's gonna end the video. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe and like, because I don't know, I might make another one on Persona 4. Whoop-de-dee. Goodbye.